What's up, people? Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, continuing my deep dive into covers albums. I don't like covers albums, trying to find the good ones so that I can appreciate an art form that I don't think is necessary anymore. I think it was more a product of pre-internet when you could expose people to new artists through their love of a previous artist. Right now, it's just kind of indulgent. But anyways, that's a rant. This is deep dive number 31. So I've done 30 other videos. And I'm returning to a Rolling Stones covers album. Other artists doing the Rolling Stones. For two reasons. The first reason why I was hesitant to do another Stones was I recently did a country album, Stone Cold Country, which is a bunch of country artists doing Rolling Stones covers. And that is one of my favorite covers albums I've listened to so far. At the time, I think I did it a couple videos ago, but it's in the top 10. It's like a number 5 ranked covers albums out of the 20 plus I had done when I ranked it. So the Stones were successful in being covered. All they had to do was be covered, but they were successful in being covered. I also just discovered this series called Ain't Another Tribute Album, or Ain't No Tribute Album, or something like that. It's a series of tribute albums. They're also called All Bluesed Up. I think they went by both names. Now they go by both. And this is all bluesed up songs of the Rolling Stones. I recently did Eric Clapton, which was about a 50% hit. Half of them I liked, half of them I didn't like. It wound up right in the middle of the pack. And the problem with that was Clapton is already a blues artist. So how much reinvention is going to happen? How much do you need it to be necessary to cover Eric Clapton? Can you do something interesting? It's probably a lot easier to do something not interesting, especially considering that there weren't many deep cuts there. But now we have the Stones, all bluesed up, more blues artists, some of the same blues artists that were on the Eric Clapton album, doing the Stones. And the Stones are already blues based, rhythm and blues, very much so. So I was like, this is going to be interesting. Will it be as successful as country? All that stuff. So I'm going to talk about this, go song by song. Every song will get 1 point for yes, 0 points for no. I reluctantly give half points, but every once in a while I will. And then the overall score will be the percentage of points divided by number of tracks. So anyways, 13 tracks on here, this album. Going into this, optimistic based on the country, pessimistic based on the Eric Clapton blues. First track, dangerous track to cover. You Can't Always Get What You Want by Luther Allison, my bad. Starts off, organ and voice, low-key, simmering blues. I'm all in. Guitar and drums eventually drop, but we don't get that gradual build that we do in the original. We just get the band drops, and we're in a funky blues vibe. And it's got a slow build, but not in the same like plateaued way as the original does, where instruments come in and it gets more chaotic. It just like, as he sings the song and performs the song, the energy just naturally builds because of the song. Really fun. There are some background vocals that come in that after the guitar solo that sound like they're quoting Walk on the Wild Side. They're pretty much going doot, 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 as he's singing that final verse to You Can't Always Get What You Want. I'm pretty sure that's intentional. Maybe it's just me imagining it. And I swear at one point the bass goes boom, boom, and plays that Walk on the Wild Side bass line. But again, that just may be imagining it. Love this version. Super, super fun way to open this album. It's a yes. Then we get Tumblin' Dice by Johnny Copeland. Tumblin' Dice is my all-time favorite Rolling Stone song. Linda Ronstadt knocked it out of the park. That was actually the first time I heard Tumblin' Dice, and that's the version I fell in love with. And I discovered the Stones version, and it was over. Yeah, it's just too straightforward. I like the vocals, interesting vocals. Copeland just has something unique about his vocal style, but it was just too straightforward. There's a nice slide solo. The slide solo kind of has some grit to it, but for the most part, it's not Linda Ronstadt's version. It's not the Stones version. I got to say no on Tumblin' Dice, though. It just sounds like a bar band version of it. As much as I enjoyed listening to it, I did not love this because it is Tumblin' Dice. I can't give it a point. Then we get I Can't Get No Satisfaction, which is played with this almost like bow, bow, smokestack lightning type first bongo fury version of Frank Zappa's Torture Never Stops type, almost that like just almost like a 12-bar blues, just bow, 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 I mean, it's just gritty, it's bluesy, it's just centered around this awesome riff, but not the Satisfaction riff. Every once in a while, the actual straightforward version of that riff will pop up, and you're like, oh, that's right, this is Satisfaction. It's by Junior Wells. Great vocals. This guy has character in his voice, really tasty harmonica solo, and they're just really locked in to this like this deep blues groove. And whenever you get that, I can't even think of what the Satisfaction riff is now because I have this thing stuck in my head. Every time they like play like a pure version of the Satisfaction riff, you're like, oh, yeah, it's like it reminded me of like those water slide rides at like water amusement parks where you have like the lazy river, but it's like goes downhill, but it takes like a really long time. It's like a 10 or 15 minute ride. And most of it's lazy. And there are these really rapid sections that accelerate you through the next part. Anytime they drop into that Satisfaction riff, I feel like I'm being accelerated to the next part in a good way. I love this. Wild Horses is next. Otis Clay, too big, too studio, too polished. It's not bad. He's got a good voice. I just think Wild Horses, all you have to do is kind of not mess it up. And I think if you put too many instruments in there, or if you make it sound too big, you mess it up. It's kind of a perfect song. I think if Otis had just had a guitar, his voice would have been good enough to carry it. But this is a no for me. Honky Tonk Woman, Taj Mahal. We get that, he hums the entire melody of Honky Tonk Woman before anything else happens. Though we get some nice acoustic guitar in there. Which is funny because I think he was on that Michelle Shocked Arkansas Traveler album, which I don't think you can find anymore, which was fantastic. He hummed the entirety of that song that he was on. Straight blues vibe. Sounds like it's done in one take. It's a voice, a harmonica, not Taj Mahal, someone else playing the harmonica, a guitar. Really simple, really authentic, really personal, really intimate, but it's Honky Tonk Woman. It's fantastic. Taj Mahal hits it out of the park. That's a yes. Next, we get Sway by Alvin Youngblood Hart. Too straightforward, though there are some tasty licks in here. The lead singer, I'm assuming that is Alvin Youngblood Hart himself. Sounds like Jagger. Some great slide playing, but this was the only one on here. Like Wild Horses, I didn't feel like I needed to go listen to Wild Horses. Tumbling Dice, I always want to listen to Tumbling Dice, but I had to go back and listen to the original version of Sway. I just needed that okay, I need the authenticity of the actual Jagger doing it. So if you ever make me want to go back and listen to the original, you're not getting a point. Ventilator Blues by Clarence Gatemouth Brown, a Zappa connection. Heavy influence on Zappa's guitar playing. Really nice, warm version of this. Nice and bouncy, great vibe. It's loose and jammy. We got this violin that comes in and starts soloing. 6.5 minutes of pure blues. Awesomeness. Clarence, thank you. Wonderful. Probably the deepest cut on here, right? Ventilator Blues. Heart of Stone, I guess, might be a deep cut just from an earlier album. But really, I guess Sway's kind of a deep cut. I guess we get a couple deep cuts. Couple good choices on here. But Ventilator Blues, yeah, bam, it's out of here. Beast of Burden by the Holmes Brothers, way too calm, way too lacking in swag, I guess. Like you need that Jagger swag to sell Beast of Burden. Just way too laid back. Sometimes you can underplay a song and make it work. This one, I think you got to lean into that. I'll never be. You got to lean into that, just like, that urgency of the vocals. Yeah, this is a no. Under My Thumb by Lucky Peterson. Yeah, and it's probably the most straightforward blues pop cover on here. They don't really lean too heavily on the do. Like it's there baked into the music, but they don't try to like replicate it with some bad sounding like marimba sound or anything like some fake synth. It just becomes part of it. It's just a straight blues pop thing that absolutely works. Little country-esque vibe in the solos, nice closing solo. Under My Thumb, just it would be like if I've never heard of Lucky Peterson. So if I saw him in concert, I would imagine most of his stuff has an upbeat blues vibe, and he would throw this in the mix and it would work perfectly. But it also is a really good listen. Surprised me. I really didn't know what to expect with an Under My Thumb cover. It's All Over Now. Another stroke of genius in this series. I believe in the Clapton series, Bo Diddley covered a song that was a Bo Diddley song that Clapton had covered. In this one, we get a cover of It's All Over Now by Bobby Womack, who wrote the song that the Stones covered. And yeah, it's Bobby Womack doing a Bobby Womack song. Pretty straightforward. 100% yes. You wrote it, Bobby. You're killing it. Thank you for that. Just really enjoy this. Midnight Rambler, Larry McCray. Kind of an upbeat, funkier, poppier blues. This was another one which was like, what are you going to do with this song? And I'm not the biggest Midnight Rambler fan. There's some tasty playing on here, some nice screaming guitar blues-wise. Like we get some shredding, but I just feel like, I don't know, it didn't do anything for me. Like I'm not even sure it's a bad cover of Midnight Rambler, but it didn't make me like or dislike Midnight Rambler any more than I already did. So I got to give that a no. And then we have Heart of Stone by Joe Louis Walker, covering a really early song. And I like the choice in covers, but I think there's a more of this innocence to the Stones version, but like, I'm not innocent, but I'm playing it innocent. Just that early 60s sweet popness, I kind of like better. This one, we got some big horns come in. It feels like a really dramatic and soulful, like showstopper. Like you could like bring this out and like bring the house down because you got the horns coming out. But it almost feels too over the top. And like Joe Louis Walker is owning the performance. It's a great choice. But I feel like that's early Stones innocence that they're selling just makes the song work a little better. So I gotta say no on this. And then we close out Alvin Youngblood Hart. This is the second time he's been on here, right? Did I not say his name earlier? Maybe I did not. Maybe that was a previous album. But he does a cover. Could have sworn. Yeah, I did. He did Sway, which I said no to. This one he does Moonlight Mile, which I'm saying yes to. Very acoustic playing. In the very beginning, he's playing the melody acoustic instrumentally. Very haunting. It's like acoustic with this haunting background guitar. He's like playing that melody. He's setting up the right vibe, the right tone, the right sort of unsettled eeriness. It's stark. It's haunting. Absolutely perfect cover of Moonlight Mile. And it closes out the album, which is what it should do. So, never bad. I can't say any of these were outright cringy or bad. Maybe the worst one I just don't think Midnight Rambler didn't do much for me. Wild Horses didn't do much for me. Even the other ones I kind of enjoyed. I just thought the Stones really did it better. But I like 7 of them out of the 13. You Can't Always Get was good. Satisfaction, Honky Tonk, Ventilator Blues, Under My Thumb, just a nice straightforward surprise. It's All Over Now, Bobby Womack being Bobby Womack. And then Moonlight Mile, which is just such a great song. So I got 7 out of 13, which is 54%. So I have now done 2 all bluesed up. The Clapton one was at 50%. This one is at 54%. So it ends up right there, number 13 out of 31. Clapton at 50%, drops down to 16. And if we look at, that's the bottom of the list. If we look at what the top 10 look like, we still got that Stone Cold Country Rolling Stones cover one, that Country Rolling Stones, way up there at number 5. So there are some good covers albums out there, people. If you didn't believe like I didn't believe, it's worth doing some deep diving. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed All Bluesed Up. I enjoyed the Clapton one. I like hearing Clapton songs. I like hearing Stone songs. I just think there's really only about half of it would maybe be playlist worthy or did not just give me a yearning to hear the originals. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, do those things, and peace. Talk to you later.